The event happened 10 years ago. At that time, I was still in high school in my hometown, which was a small county town. The school was quite far from my house, about 2 kilometers away. I have to ride my bike for nearly half an hour every day, usually with 3 or 4 classmates. However, on the day that the event happened, it was a Sunday and I was going to school to work on the blackboard newspaper. When I was coming back home, I was alone and it was getting close to evening. To make matters worse, it had started to rain, which made me feel a bit awkward and uncomfortable. There was a large bridge on the road, and the road had been repaired to go over the bridge. However, the road had a slight incline and it was a bit of a detour. As the rain was getting heavier, I figured that I would definitely get wet if I took the long way around the bridge. So, I decided to go through the bridge tunnel under the bridge, which was a shorter route that we had often taken before. However, on that day, something was different. I felt cold as soon as I entered the bridge hole, and it seemed that the temperature inside was much lower than outside. I had a bad feeling at that time and felt scared. I wanted to ride out of the bridge hole quickly, but after riding for a while, I smelled a strange smell that seemed familiar. I looked forward and found something strange in front of me. It turned out to be a spirit tablet, with fruit offerings and a pile of ashes on the ground. I then remembered that someone had just burned paper here, which is common for paper burning in worship, but it's not a holiday now, so encountering it still makes people feel somewhat taboo. I tried my best not to think about or look at it and rode forward with all my might. As I looked forward, I saw that the other end of the bridge tunnel had somehow become very far away. This was impossible. I panicked. I used more force on my feet, but at that moment, something else terrifying happened. I found that my bike had become very heavy, as if I was climbing a hill. It was very hard to pedal, and the heavy feeling became heavier and heavier, almost stopping completely. My heart suddenly thudded, thinking that something must have gone wrong. Suddenly, there was a strange noise in the bridge tunnel, like many babies crying around me, sharp and piercing, and it kept turning around me. The noise became louder and closer, and I could almost feel that they had gathered behind me. I tried to resist turning around, but the cry of the babies sounded like it was right next to my ears. It felt like there were dozens of babies pressing down on my back. I couldn't resist looking back, but there was nothing behind me. However, I knew they were behind me because the other end of the bridge tunnel had also become very far away. Because I was focusing on what was behind me, I still had an accident and fell to the ground. The little courage I had suddenly collapsed. In that moment, I seemed to see countless small babies screaming and rushing towards me. I quickly realized that everything was probably related to the spirit tablet. I ran to the spirit tablet and recited it. To my surprise, it worked. The sound gradually disappeared. The temperature around me seemed to have risen. I turned my head and saw that the bridge tunnel exit was just 10 meters in front of me. I didn't care about anything else and just got on my bike and pedaled away. In less than 3 seconds, I rushed out the 10 meters. Because I had wasted time in the bridge tunnel, it was already dark when I got home. I thought for a long time and didn't tell my mom about this. I felt like I had grown up and didn't want to worry her. But before I even went inside, my mom stopped me. She asked me what was wrong with my back. I looked behind me and was shocked to see several small black handprints on my back, as if they had been made with ash, and they were very small handprints. Seeing those handprints made me tremble, so I quickly told my mom about my experience in the bridge tunnel. My mom said that in our customs, if a baby dies young, they cannot be buried in the ancestral grave. Most of the time, they are thrown into the river under the bridge and washed away. Their family members feel guilty and often go to the bridge tunnel to burn paper as an offering.